All right, everybody, come on in. Go ahead and get yourself a seat, put a log on the fire, grab yourself a beverage. You're listening to Cliff's Kayfabe, Campfire, and episode, I don't know, I got a guy that keeps track of these things. Welcome to another episode, folks. In my last couple of ones, we've been talking to some great Indy stars around the Indy scene of pro wrestling in the South. I, of course, am based in Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas, the Arklatex, if you will. But we also like to branch out and get some people on the phone. Today, though, we got two live in the flesh stars going to be in here. They're actually from my home federation, the UWE. If you've never heard of it, look it up. It's all over Facebook, YouTube, 365 Pro Wrestling Network on Roku. Yeah, we're getting places. So they are, as one of them likes to put it, and I quote, the World Tag Team Champions of the world. Right, exactly. Please welcome Prince Fontenot and Ruthless Devonte Adams, Royal Pain.
That's right. We up in this house right now. And I love the fact we got this campfire going on. But what I need to know is these s'mores, are they sugar-free or not? I can't have no cavities kicking in, man. I got a $10 million smile, and I ain't trying to get it ruined.
Well, you see, sir, we only go sugar full. We don't do the sugar free around here. Treat yourself, man.
I can't be going up and down and stuff. I'm already hyped as it is. So the last thing I need is some more sugar to get even more hyped, because then I really start getting crazy up in here. And that's the last thing you want.
All right, folks. Well, hey, we don't know where we're going. We're in uncharted waters.
Oh, my goodness. Listening. We're about to do this.
It's going to be that kind of episode. Yeah. All right.
I heard you say you spoke earlier about other guests that you may have in, but what you didn't realize, what you failed to realize is you have the premier World Tag Team Champions of the world up in here.
Of the world.
So it's far beyond your normal guests.
Most definitely.
You're in the presence of greatness.
Of course.
You know, because as I said many a times, we don't meander in the midst of mediocrity. We are dealing with greatness right now, and we're looking to spread it upon everybody that comes in contact with us.
Right.
So make sure that we let it be known, as I said, that we are the World Tag Team Champions of the world, you understand.
I think I got it.
As long as you got it. I hope the rest of your viewers got it. I'm not sure what the IQ is of everybody that's paying attention to this.
I'm
hoping that it's high.
Situation now.
There are some rural America people listening to this, so let's keep that in mind. I think that might have been necessary for some places. All right, well, first of all, for the lot of people that may not know who we are, or more importantly, who you are, let's start off by saying you guys have held on to those tag team belts for a couple months now. How did Royal Pain come to be? First of all, let me just go and tell everybody, because you can't see here, audio only. We have a veteran and a young dude. The young dude actually was in class with me. Hey, man, you remember that first day of class? We was doing them go-home drills in the corner?
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Go-home drills.
I still feel bad about that.
Well, you didn't have me the first night.
First or second night.
You had Ethan.
You witnessed it.
You had Ethan.
You just remember. I remember you witnessed it, and you're like, I don't want to do the drill with him. and then of course Prince. You're of course years and years of a veteran. Multi-decade veteran, if you will.
Thank you.
In fact, you're one of the assistant trainers over there at the UWE Training Academy in Central Louisiana, and you've actually showed me about a good 75%. No, hold on, I don't want to make the other one mad. Good 50-50, okay?
So be it.
I don't want to have a certain...
See, you showing stuff I don't even know about. See?
That's right. I just gave him a couple of tricks. See, I may have taught him everything he knows, but I ain't taught him everything I know. There's plenty more to teach.
I don't know everything you know yet.
That's the idea.
Yeah. The man's got a clean Frankensteiner for such a giant guy. If you've never seen Prince Fontenot, I've actually talked about him in a past episode. Just Google him. You can see his body of work as far as bodybuilding, pro wrestling. So, you two birds, y'all didn't know each other before UWE. Tell me about the first meeting. Tell me what drew you to each other. What happened with that?
He wound up beating the heck out of me. That's more or less what it was. I came into practice because I thought this whole thing was over with. And as far as my whole wrestling career and everything, I pretty much came down here to Louisiana just simply to take care of my parents, and got at work. There's this young lady that just happened to know Dapper Dan, and in some kind of way, she and I wound up getting into conversation, which is so ironic, and that just tells me it was by God, because this young lady wound up leaving like a week later. So I guess she was just over there long enough for me to meet up. and wound up hooking up with Dapper Dan. And I wound up going to practice, and I'm seeing these incredible athletes who I'm looking at the future of wrestling just taking place right before my eyes. And one of which just happens to be in the ring. You know, he had this, I guess I would say, this pit bull grip upon most of his opponents and whatnot. And so, you know, I jump in, you know, show a couple of things and stuff, and we do these little mixed matches and whatnot. And we hook up, and this song knocked me so hard, I think I fell back to 2 weeks later. When I eventually woke up, I think it was around Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. By the time I woke up, I was like, I want to make sure I'm his partner because I don't want no more of that. And next thing you know, we wound up going against each other at one of the shows and wound up getting some more of them knuckle knots on my head. And that pretty much confirmed I did not want to go against this man any further.
I think that's how the nickname "the most feared striker" in the UWE came about.
That could very well be.
That's how that came about.
I've heard about you working other places though, where you've just really opened it up on them, dude, and made them. We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah.
But well, I want to interject here and say I was actually there backstage the night you two fought, and to let you viewers or listeners know. Look, so this was not a planned thing. It wasn't like they were like, hey, man, the new coach and old D over here, they look like they might could do something. No, literally how this worked out. And we've actually talked about this particular show on a past episode, me and X Storms. And so, folks, this is life on the Indies for you. I don't care. Now, first of all, I know what a lot of you probably thinking. Oh, they don't sound very professional. Now, look, when you're dealing with people that aren't locked down via contract, anything can happen.
Anything, that's right.
And when you're dealing in a state like Louisiana where the state wants a hand in it, man, you got to, like, request everything in advance. There is no just what happens. So, long story short, we had a fella from out of state supposed to come in and work, and he cancels like an hour before.
That's about right. That's part of course on
Yeah. Then we have another bozo show up that thinks he knows it all because he's gone to a bigger school in a bigger city, and he's actually learned the true art form of wrestling. So he's in there, and, you know, everybody works a different style. And if you don't know these terms, don't worry. You know, we're just talking. But, you know, everybody works a different style. A lot of people like to call it in there, you know, and then a lot of people like to, you know, simmer on it a little bit, maybe really think about what they're going to do. This guy was the second. And we're just like, dude, you're wasting your time. I mean, like, let's just get in there and work. Let's just go work. So we're dealing with this guy. He gets hurt trying to, you know, show off the fancy new bump he learned to take.
Imagine that.
He gets hurt, and there ain't nobody there. So now we're down two guys. And D's over here, he's gone from fighting this guy to now he's tagging.
I feel like it was like 10 matches after a while. 10 whole matches. And we never really got to the bottom of anything. So it was like, Jesus Christ.
Paired up with the, at the time, UWE champion, Jake Fury. Again, a guy that you may end up seeing on AEW Dark or something one day. Check him out on Facebook, Dark Wolf, Jake Fury. Me and him were tag partners at the time. We actually won y'all's belts that night.
I'm glad the way you put that. That's right.
Interesting. So I'm getting ready for this tag match. So I've already got, you know, a bunch on my mind. You know, first title shot and a win. Thank you. So I'm back there getting ready for that, and then I see the new coach walk in and, hey fellas, how we doing? How's everybody feeling? And I'm like, is that your gear bag? And he's like, well, of course. I'm like, put it on. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, we'll explain later. Just go put it on. Next thing you know, the big boss, Dapper Dan, comes up and he's like, oh, thank God you're here. Go put that on.
Yep.
And that's how that happened. That was just like, hey, you need an opponent? Here he is.
There you go.
And all of us in the back had never seen Prince compete in a real setting. Sure, we've seen you do moves, demonstrations, and your lectures and all in the class. Yep. But we had never actually, and you know, no offense or anything, but it is hard to find full matches of you just because of technology of the time. A lot of stuff didn't make the, you know, you can take videotape and convert it to digital. A lot of stuff doesn't make the trip. So other than a couple of small videos, we were like, okay, well, let's see what this guy's got. And he come out there and worked that crowd, and we're looking at Devonte going, oh, man, you're screwed.
Right, yeah.
Man, you're in there with a guy that he knows. This is like going to check the mail for him.
Because it's like, you know, you want to make sure you can, you know, study your opponent a lot of times, and then there's issues where there's going to be times where you're not going to be able to do that. And just so happened, I learned sooner than later, and I wish it was later. But at the same time, I'm a pit bull. I fear nothing, regret less. Sorry, Cena. I stole it from you. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, it's a true saying. You be ready for anything. Because, in the indies, things happen.
Yeah.
In life, things happen. So,
So it seems to me like, again, a little bit more divine intervention here.
Could have been.
Because we get out of that, and y'all are just like, okay, that was cool. That was fun. See you in there again next time. If you ever want to do it again, whatever. Fast forward, man, not even like 6 months. Like, I want to say, 2 months?
2 months.
We're in
Columbia.
Wait, no, Center.
Oh, yeah.
Center,
I forgot about
Texas.
Center, yeah.
So again, folks, I say we hit the whole territory at UWE. So we also go to Texas as well. No rules over there, So we get over there to Texas, and again, the original card is set for one half of UWE's tag team champions, the very handsome Cowboy Cliff Rogers. Versus Prince Fontenot. Yeah, there he is. He's over there. Okay.
Right.
No. The legend Prince Fontenot. And I'm just like, fun. Let's get it on. Yeah. Let's do it. And I've always wanted to work you,
Absolutely.
And it hasn't happened in a singles competition yet.
No, it's supposed to happen that
yeah. So it's supposed to happen. So I'm like, let's get it. And then here comes the booker, and he's like, man, this looks like garbage. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know why we even did this.
Yep.
Next thing you know, one of the guys that's already having a singles match, he's like, "Hey man, we got to get together, go talk about the spot for the tag." And I'm thinking, I was like, "Yeah, ha. No, like go look at the board. It's now Cliff Rogers and Austin Andrews, who is not his co-champion partner. So I have no chemistry with this guy, none. Still don't. In fact, he was also a previous guest. I really don't like the guy. So we have him on there, and I'm like, all right. Stay out of the way, I guess. And then I'm like, who we fighting? Prince and Devonte. I'm like, okay, well, let's lean on the fact that they probably don't like each other.
That didn't work.
Y'all got out there and jailed. And I remember y'all came out to your old entrance. That would have been, remind me, Go Hard or Go Home.
Go home.
E40.
E40.
Yep.
And when that track hit, apparently just E40's hot in Center because everybody pops, and I'm like, aren't they heels? Like,
Exactly right.
yeah. And then you come out, and then y'all hit like almost like a DX thing, like a Triple H and Shawn. And I'm just looking, going, these guys. I said and then I look over at Andrews, and I'm like, this probably wasn't as random as we think. I said. And in fact, I almost told him in the corner, I'm like, it may not have been in the back, but they got together in the parking lot of a Denny's somewhere, and they figured this out. Because that's a tag team. That's not just two guys. That's a tag team. So that was the first time y'all actually competed together as Royal Pain, and you actually and if you look that match up, it's available on YouTube, the UWE United Wrestling Entertainment YouTube channel. And if you have Roku TV and for only $1, you can subscribe to the 365 Pro Wrestling Network. A lot of great indies on that, and we're on there as well. You can watch that. It's UW Showdown in Center. Again, the very handsome Cowboy Cliff Rogers, the amazing and not so amazing Austin Andrews, and then these two gentlemen. Great match. I had so much fun in that match. I was very young. D, you were also very young, so you're going to see some of the young but it's kind of like watching college football. It's not refined yet,
Right.
So.
And you grow as you go. That's the biggest thing. You grow as you go.
So that was the first. So from there, of course, you get your sights set on winning championship gold. But I've also, before we, let's get off this linear path, just talking about matches here. Sure. You guys are doing a lot multimedia-wise, man. You have a rap album out. Not an album, a track. Yeah, sorry. I'm putting the cart in front of the horse here.
Nah, brother, you speaking it into existence. That's all it is.
I was about to say
Just speaking it into existence.
You have a rap single that you recorded. It's your new entrance.
That's right.
You guys are posting great promo. And let me tell y'all folks this. And again, on the indies, unless you know somebody with great equipment, shout out to my friend Mr. Leslie over here getting the photo shoot going.
Leslie Harrington.
Unless
Raw
you know
Pain's official photographer, I might add.
The big dog himself.
Yes, sir.
Unless you know somebody like Leslie Harrington and all that good TV worthy promos are hard to come by on the indie scene. Exactly. Not talking trash about anybody. It's just, when you're already working, you got kids, money's already tight, and you're a crew. It's how much time and money do you have left over after work and, quotes, work.
Right.
No how much money and time. Me, I'm pretty handy with the iPhone. I got the new iPhone 14. It really helps you out. So, quick tip, research your smartphone. See all the features it can do. You might have to reroute power to the camera to make it better. But, little things to where, I've learned as long as fans see effort was put, and you're not just a guy with the window unit in the background going, So, but anyway, you guys really hit it hard as far as social media, multimedia presence. So kind of like, I guess, kind of tell me, what was the conversation like? You guys have teamed. You're not champs yet, but you've teamed. You've decided, okay, there's something here. What made y'all want to be like, man, forget like just the UWE. We want to take it all. Like, let's start working on a track. Let's start doing this. What kind of spawned that idea? Because a lot of guys are just like, we both fight good. Let's win fights. So, like, what made you want to go beyond that?
You want to go first on this one?
Go for it.
Well, so biggest thing is you gotta just kind of look at the background. We both short. So
I beg your pardon.
So
excuse me, sir. I'm a whole 5'8".
That was challenge, sir. That worked out perfectly. But on a serious note, just our backgrounds in general was really what brought us together. And then you got to look at it too. He's a legend. Anybody who's in my position, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm a religious person. I thank God that it even came this way, because Devonte wouldn't be probably near as good as what he is without Prince. I mean, to be honest, I was already, doing my own thing, but then this just brought it on to the next level. So, when we first met, it was like, it just meshed. It just came together. So we started finding out we had similar backgrounds into music, both in the church, doing a lot of stuff around the community. And then after that, when you get to talking for a little while, then you just learn how crazy a person is.
Yeah.
And we learned we meshed because we were both crazy as hell.
Beautiful,
so at the end of the day, it just put it together. So I remember when we even came up with the track, and he was like, hey, man, we can't use Go Hard no more. I was like, I like that song, though.
Copyright,
Like, I know. And he just hurt my heart. Like, Jesus, like, take the steak and just straight
up in there.
like, for real. So I was like, so what's your plan? He said, man, look, we need to come up with our own track. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, where have you been all my life? Because I've been thinking about this the whole time. So all of a sudden now, I'm going through old, because anybody who know me, I used to try to rap in high school, whatever the case may be. That's past stuff now.
I mean, we all did a little something
right.
Back
so
then.
I'm going through old instrumentals and beats, because SoundClick is your best friend. When you start buying stuff off of there, you got random beats just sitting on the laptop for no reason. And next thing I know, I clicked a certain beat, and it already says the name of the song. And I'm like, what is this? And next thing you hear, dur, 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 dur. I say, hey, Prince, I got something for you. This gonna be it. And he didn't even have to listen to it, but maybe 2 minutes were like, hey, that's us all day long. Yep. So small stuff like that, that's really what brings a team together. When you can mesh on stuff outside the ring and inside, man, you got it made.
And I also kind of want to add in there, myself, I like to, invest a lot of extra time and effort like that into my character work and just in the health of my career. But, there's also some guys, and not calling anyone out, but not just at our school, but at every school, that, some of them are so wide-eyed. They're just like, man, I'm just lucky to even be here. Right. And they're just like, man, yes, sir, whatever you want, And so they're too timid, or then you got some guys that are just like, I'm a wrestler when I'm here on the weekend. Rest of the time, man, don't call me. I got so you got different guys. So I feel like basically what I'm asking you here, Prince, is do you feel that you attacking it wholeheartedly? Because you have the best excuse out of everybody. You can be like, man, I've put my time. I was king of the Indies. I've held many bodybuilding championships. if you need a guy for a match, yeah, and you would be well within your rights. But here you are attacking at full. So is that setting an example to the students of just at all facets of your career that effort, it's all you got. You got to hit it hard.
It's your passion. And, earlier you were talking about the fact that, well, hey, maybe you ain't got much money. And it's honestly as simple as this. If it's important to you, you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
If it's not, you'll make an excuse why it can't happen.
Right.
And that's with every aspect of life. My partner kind of downplayed some of his stuff. This guy's a technical wizard when it comes to this stuff. When we went into the studio to drop the track, to make the rap, this song gun is like, hey, wait a minute, I need to do my ad libs. And I'm like, what? wait a minute. Because, yes, I previously did rap. Mm-hmm. I heard that kind of technology, that kind of speaking jargon then. I hadn't heard that since then. So I'm hearing him say words that I hadn't heard in years. And the fact of he's coming behind and he's layering the track and he's doing this and he's doing this. When he winds up telling the sound guy, the technician guy, hey, we need to do it this way. I need you to run that back. When I said something, he's like, double that track. I mean, just all the words. He knew what he was doing. Bottom line was he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so, as he initially said, his background and my background it was like we were long lost brothers, twins of different mamas,
There you go.
It was one of those situations. And it gave me grace, for lack of a better term, because it gave me somebody to mentor too. But by that same token, it allowed me to feed off his energy. Oftentimes I'll tell you, when we're in the ring, man, pretty much 75% of the match he's going to do, okay? Mm-hmm. We never had that conversation. And don't get me wrong, anything happens with him, I'm going to go in and do what we got to do. But when it comes to the acting aspect or like during one of the shows, when it need to be a cake to the face, well, you doing the match, let me take the embarrassment. I'm down with that because you're going to add them together and it's going to make a great tag team. And that's what we need to do.
Right. Well, and I'm, you guys were one of the first comedy goofy bits like that in UWE history. One of the first, not the first. I'm going to have another guest blowing me up. Hey, man, that ain't right. That ain't right. I did it no. Ain't it funny how guys get so attached to like these small local records? Yeah.
Butt hurt behind it. Like, Jesus.
I'm not downplaying.
Get the preparation H for it.
I am. Thank you. Yes. See, I am not downplaying any effort here because But at the end of the day, companies like UWE, we're small, we're local. So who cares if you are the longest reigning? This, that, I'm the youngest. I'm like, dude, like there was 200 people here, not 200,000,
Exactly.
So, but I did want to say that, you guys were one of the first TV style, skits. Well, we were doing something called Punk's Playhouse. Another guy named Punk Sinister. He basically has like this overgrown kid gimmick. About the best way I can put it in 5 seconds. And he comes out with his little tee set and all that, and he would come out, in fact, Dapper Dan, head coach and booker, he doesn't even call it by its name. He calls it Punk's little tee set. and so then y'all come out, do the whole, and the music interrupted them, and it was like something you'd see on TV. That is hard to do right on the indies. So I want to kind of ask, mainly Prince, since you've been around longer, man, what does one have to do and what does one have to keep in mind to make a TV-style bit work in a local indie setting?
First off, you got to not be scared of anything. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is if you need to be made a fool of, go for it. Bro, you're an actor.
Yeah.
You become a wrestler to say, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. You don't become a wrestler because you want to put your nose up in the air. You don't want to get hit. You don't want to, you want to say, hey, look at me. Rather, that might be, I might do 50,000 flips. I might slip on a banana peel. I'm going to do something that's going to make you watch me. If everybody else is yelling, I'm going to whisper. If everybody else is whispering, I'm going to yell. I need to be different than everybody else. But what I need to do psychologically needs to make sense. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a reason as to why I did what I did. I don't just go into the ring and just jump around just to be jumping around. If I'm going to flip or if I'm going to talk with one of my guys that's going to be flipping and stuff like that, well, he needs to be a smaller guy. unless he's just going to pop a crowd for a second. I'll jump up and do a Frankensteiner to pop that crowd.
Yeah.
But it's going to lead into something that my partner's going to take over with. We work in the head, so the Frankenstein's going to flip him over and get him in position to do what we need to do.
Straight psychology.
Exactly. And the whole thing is, because a lot of times you'll get guys that go to the ring and be like, well, I forgot where I'm at.
Yeah.
If your match makes sense, you're not going to forget where you're at. Because everything is going to lead to something else.
Yeah.
Take that grain of knowledge and rock with it, because it will carry you very far. There needs to be a reason for what you're doing.
Yes.
So if you're coming in and you want to get the crowd to do something, let's go old school. You always want Granny and her umbrella to swing at you if you're a bad guy. That's as old as time itself. If you can get
too many
grandma,
grandmas, won't swing it.
but trust, if you're a bad guy, that's what you want, because if you made her do it, then everybody's hating you. If you made that little baby laugh, everybody's laughing with you. Everybody's going to work off of that common denominator. So if you can make one person do it, especially the hardest one to do it, then you got the whole crowd in your hand. And the whole key is we need to get everybody in the palm of our hands.
Right. That's actually how you keep from blacking out like that is, quit looking at the whole field, okay, and just look at one person and play to that guy.
There you go.
Or chick. If you're me, it's always, the single one out there. But, yeah. Hey, it works.
Hey,
it works.
whatever works, brother.
He out
Speaking
there
of
trying to get them cougar draws. What you doing, Cowboy?
cougars.
It pays the bills.
Wait a minute. There's an age cap. No, D, it's funny. We was over here talking about grandmas swinging at each other, or swinging at you. Again, UWE, we were at a show, Columbia, Louisiana. Another guy named Xavier Storm. He's been on the show before, former light heavyweight champion. And again, if you've never looked up X Storms, find him on Facebook, all that.
Dude.
Very talented. One of your students.
Yes.
and yeah, go ahead and claim that.
No problem. Gladly.
Great guy. Okay guy. Great wrestler. And again, one of those wrestling brothers, one of those guys that you've just started with, you train with, D, I like to think me and you're starting to build that. It's just, you meet a lot of people in the business. A lot of people are very two-faced wherever you're at, but you got that, you got that wrestling family, and it's normally the people you started with.
There you go, brothers of the ring.
So anyway, I'm back there and I'm watching X Storm's work, and he's working a masked gimmick guy, some guy we had come in, and anyway, he's healing, and he walks up to some kid that's sitting like front row, and again he went a little far, but the kid you could tell was a big fan, and he's wanting it.
That's the one you want. There you go.
And he's up there just this big grin, and he's just like talking smack right back. So what's X do? He just cannot stress it enough. A gentle shove here, and just kind of like buzz off, kid, that kind of thing. And the kid loved it. He looks at his dad. He's like, "Did you get that on camera?" And all
There
that?
you go. Right.
This lady comes just.
Oh yeah.
Coming in like a house fire, third row. She's like, "You get your hands on," and just like boom, swing. And we think it's like a mom or something. Somebody went and talked to this guy after the show, and he's like, "I ain't never met her in my life. I don't know who that was."
That's a heel working right there.
He just had this good Samaritan there that was, and by the way, guys, to even tell you how more impressive, how organic that was.
Exactly.
The crowd in Columbia that night, I guess I guess they misunderstood. I guess they thought it was going to be like NCAA collegiate wrestling because they were not there to be rowdy. There was a lot of people there.
Yes.
And they were all excellent go behind takedown there. So we get in there and we're just like, "Columbia, let's get it." And they're like, "What is They were so lost, and and I could see on some of their is that fake stuff. By the end of the night,
there you go.
We had everybody standing, and that's a collective locker room effort. That's no one person. Right. Part of that's the booker. Part of that is the refs.
Oh yes, they play a part as well.
Refs, right. you guys don't get enough, man.
And I think a lot of people forget that your match or whoever goes first, each match builds off of each match.
Yeah,
and people don't really get that. Is you have to keep the momentum going. What can you do to keep these people interested that's going to make them want more and more and more each match? So then the next time you come back, hey, man, the last time I saw UWE, man, they was on fire.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, everybody who we have in UWE is talented and can fill a room.
That's why I hate having to go on after you guys or really any tag match because everybody watches tag wrestling for one thing. Or anyway, if you're me, you watch it for one thing, and that is the sick double teams.
There you go. Exactly.
So
Some
you get
bad
in
men,
there,
man.
Yep,
double
yep.
drop kick, double flapjack. You guys have a really, really cool tag finish. It's real similar to
3D.
the 3D, but what do y'all call it?
Pain and pleasure.
Listen,
Pain and pleasure.
Pain and
right.
pleasure.
Is that like a?
Because it's pleasure for us, but boy, is it pain for you.
That sounds like a
Oh,
bad
yeah.
cologne, man. Anyway, so you guys have all that. So when the crowd sees ba-boom, 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 just all this greatness, and then you have a singles match after that. They're like, okay. Hey, I'm going to go get some nachos, man. hey, I think Royal Pain's going to their merch tent. Let's go take pictures with them. Forget this cowboy thing in there. You know, but then there's other times where I've inadvertently done that to and not even meaning to. Sometimes it's just where you booked. You know, I come out, everyone's popping for me. The next guys come out and they're very drastically different from my gimmick, and then you can kind of tell. Oh, well, these people are into handsome guys that walk around and wrestle shirtless like I do.
Right.
Instead of I've worked at places where it's like you'd have guys that try to do like the mysterious dark character where they wrestle in the hoodie and the all sleeve.
All
Everybody
black.
wants to be Jeff Hardy. Colorful sleeves. You know, the black pants that are like 8 sizes too big, you know. So when that comes in after me and I just got to pop, I'm just like, okay, maybe they're not into the whole golf thing. You know?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so different places. You know, that's why John Bradshaw Layfield, I had the pleasure of meeting him one time at a fan fest. I had just started working. I'd only done like a handful of them. I'd barely even out of school. And me and a few of the other guys that were training together, it's like right before you had come in and started helping out with the school, we went and met him, and he said, my best advice to you, dude, see, he wasn't really going to give me the time of day. And then I mentioned, hey, you know, I know your friend James Beard. Oh, you know
there
James
you go.
Beard?
There you go.
And then he hits me with the, man, you need to work everywhere you possibly can for as many different kinds of people as you can. He goes, you're probably not going to have all the most fun sometimes. Probably going to be some places you hate. He goes, but you got to figure out what kind of works everywhere. So you got something to build off of. He goes, and you got to figure out how to work multiple styles that's possible for you. Because when you do get called up by the big boys, oftentimes they're not even necessarily looking for the next big thing. They're looking for, okay, who can do what I have a character built.
Yep.
Who fits that role? Right, so you got to be like, well, you know, I'm a striker, man. Well, I need you to be a flyer. Can you fly? You know, so
I can tonight.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, well, look, hold on. You got an ibuprofen back there. And
I'll drop kick the crap out of you. Know.
But anyway, yeah, just a little bit of insider knowledge there. So I'm over here looking at these beautiful championship belts here.
But of course.
What are the plans as far as Royal Pain? I know you got belts. Are you looking for more? Are you trying to be Indy belt hunters?
Oh, definitely.
We see those a lot.
Well, we putting together a group. I'm going to go ahead and put it on out there. We got a group that we put together. It's called Top Tier. And basically, they're the best that pro wrestling has to offer.
Okay.
And we're looking for all federations. And they'll be going through and more or less belt collecting. Okay.
Right.
Like to hear it.
There you go. We have a little mentorship going on with that. And the more belts, the more money.
Right.
And it's all about getting paid. We didn't get in this thing not to pay the
About
bill.
the Benjamins, baby.
There it is.
So I'm talking about, you know. So far in my young career, the only title I've held is one of those. And by one of those, I mean exactly the one I'm looking at right there. You know, and I can tell you, and, you know, Prince, of course, I know you know this. In fact, you've probably been there, come back down, and then got back up on there. D, you're just experiencing it like me. Once you get that first one, man, you want a trophy closet full of them.
I cried my first
I was going to say you should have saw him in the back.
I
did
cried.
see him. It was
I
embarrassing.
I
It
ain't
was
gonna lie.
embarrassing.
But but you gotta understand, with everything that was going on at the time, the like I told,
And it wasn't supposed to happen that night, by the way.
it really wasn't. But everything happened in the time in my life. It was closure. It was
Yeah.
closure to a lot of situations. So at that moment, it was like just the release of everything. So it wasn't intended for me to cry. It wasn't intended for me to beat up the man afterwards.
Oh, he was a booing.
But
it was coming on out. He
you know,
turned on the waterworks and everything.
It happened. And there's
Actually,
video footage of it out there.
If you go get on the YouTube UWE page and 365 Network, you'll see the bell ain't even rung good yet. And Prince he hits that Shawn Michaels pose, and he hits that everybody goes night night. And then I'm like, okay, let me see the pit bull. Oh, my dear Jesus. But you know what? I was,
That was hard, brother.
As somebody that came in at the same time as you trained, I really wanted that to happen for you that night. And like you said, wasn't supposed to, and I'm really glad it did, because at that point, there was only 3 guys really. Well, hold on, there was 4 of us. And there was 4.
Can't forget that 4th one.
Yeah, right. we want to, but so there was 4 guys that come into the school at once, and so that was our class, if you will. And it was myself, you, and then the current UWE champion, who was the first guest on the show, the Groovy King, Eddie Love. Also, be sure to look at him. He's actually just getting to a point with his home life, children and all, getting old enough now, where he's actually being able to hit the scene more instead of just our home fed. So be looking for him to start taking dates on the road. If you're a fan of the Indies, be looking for the guy. But anyways, it was us 3, and then another that kind of, he had work things and stuff, so his training had to kind of go on hold for a while. So we get in there. Eddie, at this point, is next in line for the title. And if he hadn't already won it, actually, no, he had. So Eddie's gotten his piece. Me, I've already teamed with a former champion. I've won that red strap right there. I've gotten my piece. You were the last guy in that class that hadn't gotten a piece. And we were just like, man, come on, man. Because, I ain't going to lie, when you started, I almost wanted to be like, son, have you ever ran?
Because you got to look at it, man. I was the underdog. Well, technically, no, I can't say that no more. But I was the underdog at the time. I was the smallest, but I was the most kind of built. So I had to prove myself that I could hang with the big boys.
Well, to see you go from that to not even a year later to see the guy that was competing at so far our biggest show, and so far one of the biggest, and I'm going to say one of. I'm definitely not going to say the, because, again, we're in Louisiana, and there is Wildcat Sports out there, and they have some big numbers.
Right.
But I will say, for the central part of the state, because New Orleans is down south, central part of the state, biggest indie show in like 10 years in Louisiana, in central Louisiana. It was like 1,000 people, and to quote Dapper Dan, who's been in the promotion game a while, he goes, guys, you got to understand, you get 400, 500, 600 people in any show, that's big.
Right.
Because most indie shows, if they're promoted well, get around 50 to 60. Yeah. He goes, if you get in the 4 digits, boy, you have done something. Yes, yeah. And we got we got around 1,000 that night. Right. So for you to win it on that stage and to see the guy go from not even a year, it kind of blew me a little bit back, because I was, I knew the work I was putting in. I was like, yeah, I fought for this. I don't always get to see what you're doing. So to be like, wow, that's cool to see that he's not only caught up. I was actually kind of like, I can do that too. I can do those moves.
Well, leading to it though, as we said a few times, that wasn't supposed to happen that particular night, and even to the point to where we had discussed, because things were a certain way leading up to that night, and I remember telling you this. You can remember when I say it, but I remember telling you, man, we're gonna be so good, they gonna have to put the belt on us.
Yeah. Because then too, you gotta also remember, you probably forgot, Cowboy, I was the undefeated monster walking around for the longest in UWE.
Oh, and I you know what? I just about screwed that up for you bad.
Yeah, you almost did.
I remember remember hanging out with the booker, and guys, this ain't very common either. It's mainly just because our bookers also are head trainer. We were just kind of hanging out in the gym one day, and he's going and racking his brain. He's like, how am I going to book this show? And then he's saying something, and then I happen to pop off and go, "Oh, you talking about Goldberg over there, Mr. Undefeated?" And he goes, "Is he really undefeated?" And I said, then he goes, "Oh, we got to fix that."
Right.
And then I was like, "What?" And he goes, "I'm gonna put him with somebody that'll beat him."
And then fun fact, the guy who took my undefeated streak is sitting next to me with the belt.
Yeah.
So that was Columbia.
Y'all had an epic rematch. The chemistry was there. It was really cool to see, and also I get where you're coming. I got to get my win back if we're going to do this. So I've had it like that with a guy in particular that not really a rivalry. We've never worked each other at home, but we've worked each other in multiple states, and we kind of have like this loose win-loss thing. I'm like, okay, well, look, I beat you in Arkansas, so if we're working in Dallas together, I'm gonna beat you again. I mean, look, I'm just gonna keep it running. Just because we may, have to, if it gets awkward and we carpool with someone, I'm not gonna let you forget about it. So getting to throw some road jabs there. So real quick, now that we're kind of getting into conversations of the road here, this is my personal favorite part of the show here. Let's get into one good road story each, shall we? Prince, first of all, you've been in it a while, man.
Yes,
first of all, tell us okay, so you're originally from Mansura, Louisiana.
Correct.
A lot of your professional life was spent in Austin, Texas.
In San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. Yes. I got to fire the fat guy around here. It's college kids, man, interns. It ain't working. No, so San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
That's where you spent your professional. So then you come back, take care of your family, you get back into wrestling. So we're going to go ahead and say San Antonio is home base wrestling-wise. Furthest place you've worked from there?
Colorado.
Cool.
And doing correspondence, some people reached out and stuff. So me and a couple other guys who were also with American Championship Wrestling at the time, we took a road trip on up there. And we get up there. Well, first off, headed to there, one of our guys had never been outside of Texas ever before. So he never saw snow before.
Oh.
So we just make it to the Colorado state line. And, of course, it's snowing. So he wants to take a picture in the snow.
Oh, wow.
So myself and it was three of us, me and my head trainer at the time, we get outside just to take the picture. No, this guy, well, I'm going to use their names because one's name is Tank, the other one's name is Hurricane, okay? Well, me and Hurricane get out to take the picture. Tank's like, no. Get on top of that billboard up there and take it so we can get an angle on it, right? Yeah. Yes, exactly what it sounds like.
Man, you're asking for a lot here.
Yeah, tell me about it. And remember, there's ice and snow on the ground. But because we are wrestlers and we are daredevils, we decided to go and try to do this. Well, I found out that taking bumps actually do save your life.
Yeah.
Because I fall from that thong gun.
No.
And took a bump on the ground. Didn't hurt anything except my pride.
Yeah.
And, boy, it was one of those where I ain't never doing that again.
No.
And so we go on over. We get to Colorado. And, of course, they want to take us out. I know I got a match the next day. I just did an 18-hour drive. Got a match the next day, and I'm going to turn around and do an 18-hour drive back. I'm not trying to to go out. No.
Undertaker, bro.
Exactly.
Undertaker.
And it's supposed to be 700 folks in this crowd coming up. So no, I'm not. I want to look as good as I possibly can. Yeah. Well, of course, they go out. So they took them to a strip club. So basically, they came back home broke. Let's go ahead and put that around.
Yeah.
They came back broke. And we hit the ring the next day. Well, here's another thing about Colorado. The oxygen level. It's very thin air up there.
Oh, yeah.
So if you think you blow up fast down here, no. You blow up a whole lot faster up there.
Oh.
So, we got the ring, and after the lockup, they was ready to go home. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have went out last night. So we carried them through about a 14-minute match. God.
And that's like an hour and 14 minutes if you're in there.
Right.
And we get back to the back, and the rival promotion was at this show. They're trying to get us to go to their show. So needless to say, it was worth the trip. Got a great story out of it. And we got a whole lot of contacts and whatnot out of it.
Yeah.
So we definitely loved it, brother. And on the way back, Tank winds up getting a ticket. So the little bit of money he did make went right to the ticket. So.
Yeah, that's one of those. You're probably sitting there like, man, great trip. Everybody else just looking out the window like, where have I gone wrong? D, what you got, man?
Oh, my God. Travel. It's probably the one The East Texas trip with you and Austin.
I remember that.
Oh
Kinda.
my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've slept since then.
So what he doesn't want to tell y'all is on the way going, Austin's driving, and they're having a whole full-fledged conversation.
Well, okay, first of all, how this show came about. I'm at my house. I'm on my land. I'm outside. I'm looking at my land. I'm about to go feed animals. And then as I'm getting done with that, and then I look and it's Dapper Dan. And I talk about Coach Dapp a lot because he's one of them guys where his whole gimmick is a shoot.
Oh, yeah.
That is him.
Yeah.
It's him.
So if he needs you and you call, well then he's probably gonna slap you when you come to train.
Right.
So I was just like, let me see what he wants. I answered. He goes, "Boy, what are you doing today?" I was like, "What? I mean, I kind of got some errands to run, things to do around here." He goes, "Well, you want to work?" I'm like, "I'm listening." And he's
Right?
like, all right. He says, he goes, "I don't know much about this, so I'm going to go on record saying this show was terrible, not his fault. He knew the guy. The guy, he didn't know anything about the business he was running. He just said, 'Hey, man, you got guys I can borrow?' And he's like, 'If you pay him.' And he's like, 'I'll pay him.' And he goes, okay. Well, you're going to pay him, and I'll call him." So he got us taken care of there, and he's like, "I'm going to loan the ring out to another promotion in another state." So we're going to Texas. He's going to Mississippi, and we're all currently in Louisiana. So it's like we're going three directions here.
Wow, right.
So he's like, "If anything happens, call me." So that's so this show literally just drops in our lap. I'm, piece of toast in my mouth, getting my wrestling boots together, and then Pitbull. I'm like, what do you want? "Hey, man, did you get the call?" "Yeah." "Hey, man, I need like a ride."
I need a ride.
Yeah. So this was completely thrown together. Anyway, we're on the way to a conversation.
Oh my God. So I don't even remember what the conversation was even about, but for some reason they lost focus of the road. And the next thing you hear me say, "Hey," and I start off just like this, I'm doing, "Hey."
I remember that.
And they still going, "Hey, hey, hey, hey."
And then I'm like, "What, D? What do you want?"
"Car." And I'm talking about we slammed on brakes so hard, they threw me from where I was sitting to like where they were up at. And keep in mind, this Cadillac is not that big. So I'm almost getting ready to go through the windshield. My seatbelt was on, so let's note that first. But it don't take much for me to go forward.
Man, I remember that. I mean,
I'm already like, okay, how can this day get worse? It gets much worse.
Oh, man.
So find out that I'm partnered up with X. We're fighting Punk Sinister and Andrews. And which is ironic because now we're all,
Top tier.
So that's very ironic. But we face each other. And I swear to God, every time I get out the ring, I'm falling through the ring.
okay. All right. Let me stop you there. Again, folks, give him some credit because this ring, albeit good ring,
Very good ring.
people putting it together
Oh, boy.
just kind of like Googled it. So the apron on this dude is like hanging. And there's a good 2-foot gap between the apron and the actual ring. I mean, it's like a curtain in the string. It's like they couldn't find good string and they went with shoelaces. I don't know, but I'll give you a little bit of credit. But guys, he's tagging, and every time he's walking back to his corner, that foot's slipping. First time, he just kind of like, "Shut up." Second time, "Shut up, man." Third time, he's laughing with the crowd. I mean, what
Like
are you going?
at this point, I just give up because I don't know who whooping my ass more, if it's the ring or Austin and them. So
Man.
it was a, and then further on, a fight breaks out later on,
Oh yeah, I was there for that. That
and
was awesome.
it's like the lady is like, "Everybody get the F off my property! I call the cops!" I'm like, you know what? That's my cue to get up out of here.
Yep, we out.
Yeah. So I was definitely there for that. I remember I worked a match, singles match, and then they have a battle royal at the end. They're like, "Hey, would everybody like to compete again?" We're like, I got 10 minutes. Let's get in there and go.
And
Battle
that's the
Royal-
part I left out. The battle royal.
See,
Oh my God! You should have told me old people chop hard like that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Like
dude.
Jesus Christ.
They try to take your heart out.
It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Like we were playing finish him. Like
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
That's what was going on in there. I remember at the end of that, and see, clarify, battle royal. Everybody starts at the same time. It is a cluster. Royal Rumble one at the time, good and clean. This was the first. So just a big cluster. We're in there with some guys that have never worked before. So I out of the kindness of, I am salt of the earth like MJF, and I go, and the dude's big, and I can tell, like, man, you kind of need to get out of this, because I said it was a bad show because this was the definition of an outlaw backyard show, literally someone's house. That was the venue. Now we got paid, so we're like, well, we're here. Let's get the money. Let's.
That's the important thing.
If anything, somebody film it and we'll get our faces out there. But a lot of these guys, you don't want to be seen on camera with some of these guys because then you get more, So this one fella in particular, I kind of took over and I'm fighting him. I, get him out and all that. And I tell the guy after the match, he was like, man, that was my first time. And I said, you did great. And I says, between me and you, I said, brother, where do you live? And he's like, around here. I said, you need to go to the next biggest city. You need to go to San Antonio, Austin. You need to go to Reality Wrestling, Booker T in Houston. You got the build. You got the look. You can punch. I felt that. I was like, you need to get out of this outlaw business. You know what I mean? So that was a very colorful, interesting show. A shoot fight breaks out at the end because some drunk redneck, that's exactly what he was. He gets upset at a heel for winking at his wife. And then
Heel did his job then.
I thought he was a plant. Because he comes in all confident. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't see him in the locker room.
Right.
And then next thing you know, grandma's getting involved with the rocker, hitting people. And then the promoter's like, you boys might want to split. I'm about to go to the ATM. And I was like, oh, baby.
Deuces. We out here.
I mean, guys, I'm from the country. That happens a lot. I'm just like, oh, guys, we might get on Cops if we stick around long enough, That's some exposure for you.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, all right. I guess it's my turn. Let's see.
Go for it. Come on now.
Let's see what's a good one. Oh yeah, got you. This is kind of a simple one. So we're leaving. Actually, yeah. This is a short one. I can throw in a rib after this. So me and X Storms, we're going to Arkansas, which is actually a company I'm working this Saturday. This episode is taped on November 30th, 22. So December 3rd, 22, I'll be in Prescott, Arkansas for Haybarn Championship Wrestling. We're going down there, me and X. We're not necessarily like we don't know what we're doing. We don't know who's on who on the card. So again, let's squash all that. Oh, they know what they're going to do. They're right together. We had no clue what's going on. We were both booked. We rode together. So we're going. We get there. We both have a great match. They put us against each other, and all the other dudes. Some of the other guys on the card were not used to working outside in an outdoor venue, so they were blowing up left and right. And I'm not gonna lie, we blew up too, but we blew up in like 20 minutes. Wow. They blew up in like 5. So we have a great match. We're both super over. Their top heel let us stick around and do a spot at the end, get a little more action. We got some money out of it. We go back. I've got a buddy that lives halfway between where we're coming and where we're going, and I'm tired. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's stop in Shreveport. Let's go eat. Let's go get us a Whataburger. Let's go to his place. There's some liquid refreshment there. Let's pop some tops. Mm-hmm. You got work tomorrow? No, I don't either. So we do that. I'm so excited. I call my buddy. I'm like, bro, we're coming. And of course, he's like, oh, wait. He goes, I mean, yeah, you're my best friend. I know you. You're bringing other wrestlers here? I got to get the house ready. He's excited. Cool. Boom. Gas light comes on. I pull over, go inside, and you've ridden with me. You've hung around me the day of shows. I enjoy black coffee. That is my energy drink. That's what keeps my heart beating. I go in there and get me a 64-ounce black coffee, no cream, no sugar. Then I get me some Big League Chew because you don't find that just everywhere. I get me $40 worth of gas. I get right back in the car. I take a swig of coffee. I put a chew in, and I drive off. 30 minutes later, X is going, hey, kind of like you, cowboy. And I'm like, what? He goes, bro, I think the needle, the gas needle's like inverted at this point. Oh, my God. And I was like, that's impossible. we're 30 minutes away from this gas station. I can't just go back and be like, hey, guys. So I go to another gas station, which, again, God thing. It's right there. There it is. So I'm like, all right, well, okay, thanks, God, for bailing me out of this one and putting one right there. So $40 worth of gas cost me $80 that night. And so we get to Shreveport. We go see my buddy. What's up, bros? How you doing, man? Whatever you do. And I'm just like, yeah. Hey, man, I just want to go curl up somewhere and cry. And he's like, why? I said, probably because about a good chunk of my winnings just went to buying gas for somebody else.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
You want to blessing somebody, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I like to think happened. More often than not, I mean, they probably just, all right, well, hey, just take that out the register, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, anyway. So, hey, guys, it's been a blast hanging out with y'all. It's been fun. Anything you want to sign off with? Give me a Royal Pain message to the world.
Well, I do have a surprise for you, though, sir. I don't know if do you know who's fighting in Seguin? Seguin?
If by Seguin... Let's make a commercial out of this, man. If by Seguin, Texas, you mean the December 10th show?
Yes, I do.
United Wrestling Entertainment,
Yes,
Seguin,
I do.
Texas. We're going to be there December 10th, 2022. If you're a pro wrestling Indy fan and you live in you're the Texas, man. What's Seguin close to?
Seguin, New Braunfels.
New Braunfels.
Right.
I love New Braunfels. Yeah, so if you're in the New Braunfels area, come out to it. All right, anyway, no, I don't know who I'm fighting.
Let's say your past is getting ready to come back to haunt you, sir.
Who am I fighting? You don't just say that and then get off. No. Who?
Put it like
What?
this. There's a storm coming, sir.
Oh, boy, there we go.
There's a storm coming, sir.
Oh, yeah, you talking about the dude that I literally just got done making fun of, that guy?
There's
Okay.
a storm coming, sir.
Hey,
X is
I'm
sent
game.
message.
Hey, look, I'm game. Like I've said every episode, I have worked that man before. I have trained with that man when we were little itty-bitty babies starting out in this business, but we've never worked under the home brand.
There we go.
That'll be fun.
But you know what? Neither have I. I've never fought X yet, and that is pretty much one of my one dreams to do, exhibition or for a belt. Like, it's got to be in my blood to find out which one of us is better.
Uh-oh.
We
Well,
got to
that
find out.
opportunity.
It's going to happen. So, look, higher ups, y'all got to make it happen. Got to make it happen.
You know-
Storms versus Adams. We got to make it happen, man.
And that would be fun. That would be a fun one to watch. I like to just take it as like, man, if you're just in the ring with a guy you want to work, that's a win.
Yes.
That's why when me and you were both in that Hurricane Pro Royal Rumble style battle royal,
God.
dude, we were starstruck, man. There was guys in there from Japan. The guys like Ryan Davison that's been to Japan. There was guys like Edge Stone that's held a ton of titles in
Big
Texas and Louisiana.
Ball butt head that put me out the ring.
He did. He did like a child too. He picked you up and like, here you go, little buddy.
Oh, wow.
Adults going to work here.
Oh, my.
And then now, me and him traded shots, and that was like, I can't believe I'm hitting Ed Stone. And then he looked at me and smiled. I'm like,
Oh, payback.
all right, okay, here.
Here comes the
Boom,
receipt.
took me right out.
Better you than me.
But when you're in that environment and you're just surrounded by guys you've been wanting to work, just pick one.
Better. Yep.
Just pick one and
Get 'em.
go.
Yep.
So I got, my resume probably is going to say, I've worked Ryan Davison, I've worked Ed Stone, I've worked all these guys. Same match.
There you go. That's right. I was in the ring with him.
And then any promoter's going to be like, it's a battle royal, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's the only ones that know it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you for the tip on that.
It was.
Hey,
it
but
was,
remember, cards always subject to change.
Yeah,
Cards
I don't
always-
think. I don't think this one changes.
Before we
get your
go,
upset.
I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that would love to be just dumb enough to give this a try. Prince, you're the trainer. How about you tell them about the UWE Academy in Louisiana?
You need to come on down to if you have a dream of being a professional wrestler, well, don't let that dream just go to waste. You need to make that dream a reality. You're coming down to the UWE, the United Wrestling Entertainment. Come and learn how to wrestle. Come and learn how to entertain. Come and learn how to let your friends see you at your finest. Whenever you're talking pro wrestling, you're talking about live theater at its finest. So what we're doing is we're going to take you into that ring and show you how to get things done. Show you how to make the old ladies want to hit you with an umbrella. Show you how to make the man that's drinking the drink mess around and forget that he really don't know how to do anything and want to get in the ring and get his butt kicked. So you come down to UWE and you'll find out how to work.
How many times did you practice it?
First time.
Yeah,
Off the
man.
top, baby.
Off the dome, baby. Pros.
Once they done, that's how we roll, brother.
Folks, looks like the fire's getting low. We're going to go ahead and pee on it and put it out. We'll catch you next episode. Be sure you look up United Wrestling Entertainment on Facebook. Also, be looking for us on YouTube as well. Pro Wrestling 365 Network on Roku television. That's where you can catch up with us as well. Follow myself, Cowboy Cliff Rogers, Prince Fontenot, and Ruthless Devonte Adams.
With a royal pain. What that means is we put heads to bed and we make everybody go night-night.
Can you feel it? We're the realest. The champs is in business, baby.
And business is good.
I don't even need to sign off after that. All right.
Royal Pains in the house. Royal Pains in the house. And everybody go night-night. Step in the house, man, here they all come. All Billy bad, but they don't want none. I can see it in their eyes, yeah, they want to fight. Step towards everybody go night-night. You want a shot, boy? We the tag title champs. We got a name for the belt, so they all amp. The pit bull, the prince, yeah, you got it right. Step towards everybody go night-night. Step in the house, man, here they all come. All Billy bad, but they don't want none. I can see it in their eyes, yeah, they want to fight. Step towards everybody go night-night. You want a shot, boy? We the tag title champs. We got a name for the belt, so they all amp. The pit bull, the prince, yeah, you got it right. Step towards everybody go night-night. Everybody go night-night. Everybody go night-night. Everybody go night-night. Everybody going night-night. Everybody going night-night. Everybody going night-night. No, I don't think so. Everybody going night-night. Everybody going night-night. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Get the hell back. All they yapping out your mouth, boy, you better come strap and get his hands in your face. Stay in your place. The pit bull shot in hand, I'm about to catch your case. Soul shaking, bone breaking. Yeah, that's a bad man. Future icon, breathtaking. Yeah, that's a bad we get the money, the power, especially the women better come correct. Or we on the next mission. Ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. After I cave your face, then you better get the nip and tuck. I ain't playing around, I put you up on game. Yeah, it's the realest, better spectacle. Your girl staring at me, but I don't mean no harm. I'm just a southern pit bull with that swag and charm. I got the theory that'll shut the whole A-town down. So when you see us walking through, just know we don't play around. Everybody go night-night. Everybody going 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 night-night. No, I don't think so. Everybody going night-night. Little man. Because we possess flavor. So when we wave our hands, start up your party type behavior and get out your seats, let your body be free as you get down to the sound of the royal beat. It's a craze for days and throwing shock and amaze. Be rocking your body all types of ways. The type of hype we bring, we make it swing. My name is Prince because my daddy's a king. I'm a saint. What you want? I ain't worried about a thing. A brother just can't lose with the prince on the team. Pitbull D8, you wanna step to me? Get the toe tag and brother sit him down 6 feet. Royal Pain stay true to the game, ain't never break the shame. So just remember the name. Yeah. Royal Pain stay true to the game, ain't never break the shame. So just remember the name. Yeah. Everybody go night-night. Everybody going 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 night-night. No, I don't think so. Everybody going night-night. Little man. Everybody going night-night. 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 Everybody going night-night.